So we managed to meet in the open ocean 1,000 miles offshore.
Good luck, baby. I love you. Welcome to the story of three sailors taking the long way home to Australia on a 38-foot boat called Finding Avalon. Last week you joined us for day 6 of our passage across the Pacific Ocean through the eyes of our newest crew member, Alexa. So I got the shock of my life this morning. Woke up for my watch at midnight and went to look at the chart plotter, and on the AIS there was a waypoint with a symbol of a cocktail glass in the direction back towards the Galapagos, and we were heading there. Backtracking to earlier in the day, I had, as a joke, placed a waypoint of a cocktail glass and set our heading to go there, just as a symbol of can't wait to get to the beach bar. And the first thing that went through my mind is that Alexa had seen that, and we were actually going there to the waypoint that I had put as a joke. Good news is that's not the case. We were intentionally going upwind back to the Galapagos. Bad news is our buddy boat, who we're headed this way with to the Pacific, Chia, with our friends Ali and Dave, they've actually broken their rig. So we're going to go and rescue them. For those of you that don't know, breaking your rig is probably the scariest and most unwanted thing to happen on a crossing. Your rig's what holds your mast up, and if your mast falls down, it's really dangerous. So, I mean, you can really hurt your crew, and also you can't sail. So they're 100 miles behind us, and we're going to meet them. We should get to them by sunrise, and we're going to hand them our spare rigging. I'm just so relieved that we were close enough to be able to help them. I'm actually really embarrassed to say that I slept through Alexa and Jackson tacking towards the waypoint. It would have made such a racket, and I slept through the whole thing. I'm such a heavy sleeper. But awake now. As the sun shed its first light, we prepared for the rescue mission. Jackson began organising our spare set of wires, and we kept a close eye on the horizon for our friends.
Shake your head, roll your eyes, stop your failing to realize your grand assumption. I know what I call myself. You can call me something else.
Morning, mate. Nice to see you out here.
Lovely guy you got.
I was going to make a rig joke, but I'll refrain.
Yeah, let's hold off on those until we get to land,
Yeah, copy that. So, I've got a bunch of my spare rigging out, which we can use. I've also got the Spectra, the Bulldog clips. What do you think you need?
I think what's probably most important is that we don't take anything that you want, that, you know, worst case you may need. But for us, I'm thinking for our repair, probably, how many Bulldog clips do we need for each side? Do we need 2 per side of a joint?
As many as you can fit, mate.
How many have you got?
I'll have to have a look, but from memory, I think I have about 8, something like that.
Copy. I mean, if I could take 4, leave you with 4, that'd be good.
Where exactly did it snap?
About 5 millimeters into the swage on the top of the upper inner shroud.
We're about 4 meters from that.
And then this one's 8 as well.
Yeah, that's our back stay.
Okay.
Pretty long wire, that one. So
We're just doing a little care package, sending over to our friends on Gia. I don't know how well it's going to travel, but it's banana pancakes.
Finding Avalon, looks like you're getting closer. What's your exact plan?
After deep thought and discussion, the crew decided the best, but still certainly not ideal, way to get Jackson over to Gia with the spare parts was via surfboard. Good luck, baby. I love you. He looks like a little turtle.
Drama on the South Pacific.
Look at that! Like a crow! Woo! Good luck, Gia! Too easy! And the ladies were left to captain for the day. The rescue mission was going solidly.
we're at the fun of. So Dave, right now, is going to see if my turnbuckle or the thread of my turnbuckle will hopefully fit his. You should be able to leave it. So Dave was unsuccessful. So
Let's see if Eleni can do
yeah,
So what I like to do
Dave
when
calls
I
her the
can't-
nut master. So
what I like to
Nut
do when
cracker.
I can't fix something is I go like this. Can you do it? Doesn't work.
Hold it, Ellen.
Yeah, I can still do it.
Hold this, please. Okay, other way.
Turns out that our boats were both constructed in 2005 and had the exact same Selden rigging. So our spare parts slipped in like a wet fish, fortified with some bulldog clips and a lot of Dyneema.
You my good side?
Yeah.
Which one's that, Nelly? The front.
I mean, this is great footage of you two. Like, this is real team building, you know.
Okay, lower. That's what I wanted when I came
Yeah.
sailing. More team building. Really extreme situations, practice my team building. practicing the managerial role. Dream situations.
I do one of those stupid like games when you can put your life at risk in a boat that's 1,000 miles.
Gia was as good as new and gingerly off on her way.
Going backwards to before, and not giving up on our progression once occurred. We're just Western children, don't know nothing, falling in love with the changes are coming. Already done, the Western children, ready to different. Your view could be right, but it probably isn't. Not with us, you're just shadows and dust.
Are you emailing your mum and dad the abridged version of the story, Jackson?
Yeah, I am.
I just wanted to chat to our hero of the day about what happened there now you've had a little sleep.
Right. It was all a dream. So we managed to meet in the open ocean 1,000 miles offshore. We made the decision that given the really calm conditions, we thought it was possible for me to jump on the longboard and paddle over to him. We did discuss at length the safety and the other options in terms of we really didn't want anyone going overboard unnecessarily, but it wasn't possible for us to get the two boats close enough together to pass supplies or get ropes over and whatnot. And we didn't really feel comfortable dropping it all off in a big bag in the middle of the ocean. So yeah, look, we decided that it was a good idea, considering we had 8 people on watch. We had probably 20 meters to paddle between the two boats. And it went off without a hitch. The girls did an amazing job of sailing all day. First time that either of us have sailed the boat without the other person. And Xanthe did an amazing job as captain. And she had to do a few jibes, and it wasn't always easy trying to keep up with us on Gia because we were motoring, going with the swell to try to make it as easy as possible for Dave up the top of the rig. So they had a hard time trying to track us down and
we didn't
stay with us.
We didn't want to have the engine on because we haven't provisioned for fuel. So.
Yeah, we didn't want to run the engine unnecessarily all day. Like, we had no idea how long the repair could take, and how maybe the repair wasn't going to happen at all, and maybe we were going to have to give some of our fuel to Gia if they had to motor. The girls did a really good job of sailing all day.
I dropped my iPhone.
Yeah, and Alexa has dropped an absolute vault of music and podcasts overboard. So she's now said that she's going to sing all of her favourite Pink Floyd songs, and she's going to make her own Swellians podcast.
Well, you've got a lot of time on your hands, babe.
They're doing an urgent call out to King Neptune. Please stop going through the podcasts and Alexa's private information, and just drop the phone back on board for us. That'd be great.
That would be lovely. Thanks, Neps.
I think it was a really safe and positive experience. It's actually a really daunting experience being out here in the middle of the ocean sometimes. When things go wrong, I think they're the times that you definitely feel alone. I would really recommend to anyone that is going on a long ocean crossing, while it is all good and well to have your own spares and try and plan ahead, if possible, try and do it with someone else. We lost sight of Gia on day 1, and over the last 8 days we've drifted over 100 miles apart, but within 10 hours we were back together. And I think that's an important point, that it is really nice to know that there's support and friends out here who are literally just a call or an email away. And yeah, you know, half a night and we're back together. Within 5 hours their boat's as good as new, and they can comfortably sail the next 2,000 miles to Marquesas. It's now 12 knots of breeze. We're just guessing since the wind indicator's broken.
Oh, we haven't spoken about that.
Yeah, unfortunately our wind indicator won't show the speed, and none of us want to go up the rig yet, so we've just been putting the finger in the air and having a guess as to how strong it is. But Gia are still quite tentative on how much mainsail they want to put out, and they're still testing the rig, so we've had to slow down quite considerably. It's always nice to say that our small 38-foot overloaded Avalon, we need to slow it down so the big 48-foot mean machine behind us can catch up. But yeah, we've got 2 reefs in the main and a reef in the jib, and we're still doing 5.5 knots out here in 12 knots. Admittedly, there's a bit of current and swell pushing us along, but yeah, I think we're going to hang out with Gia for the next day or two. Lightly encourage them to get more confident with the repair and put out some main, and hopefully the wind builds a little more, because that way we can both get back up to 6 knots.
Return the crime murder mystery update.
Internal and external injuries, including 5 broken ribs, 13 knife wounds to the skull,
I'm just trying to
and caught his eye.
Sorry, buddy. He is strong as an ox. Oh, and Gia asking on the radio if we're okay. Wow.
He named his witness Savannah Flynn.
He bit my foot.
With a worried expression on her body. Zoran had not been involved in an accident and was perfectly fine. He returned home.
So after an even more eventful day than we expected, we're now going to do a culinary experience at sea with seared tuna. I mean, this is sea to plate right here. It is still warm. It was swimming around maybe 35 minutes ago. And then we're going to do a fried rice with green beans in some ginger, garlic, soy honey. Hey guys, really hope you enjoyed that episode. With our upcoming long passages, we've been madly downloading some podcasts and Netflix and movies just to bide the time. And one podcast I really wanted to recommend was Sailing in the Mediterranean. It's hosted by Franz, and he has his website www.medsailor.com. I was lucky enough to meet Franz in Montenegro, and yeah, I've been listening to his podcast for about 4 years now. Awesome information about sailing the Mediterranean, where to sail, but also more importantly, just some general great tips about sailing, how to handle your boat, and I guess, yeah, just general.
That's alright.
Do I have to do the whole thing again?
No, I can cut the shit out of this, babe.
Okay.
Pick up.
And yeah, just general handy hints about sailing in the Med. So we've been lucky enough, Xanthe and I have been lucky enough to do a few podcasts with him recently. I believe they are probably up in the ether already. So download them and have a listen. And yeah, subscribe to Franz. And yeah, I hope you really enjoy it. Bye guys.
Love you. Thanks a bunch for joining us this week. Next time you get a window into what it's like to skipper a boat across the Pacific Ocean in Jackson's Day in the Life. If you'd like to see more content from us and even be in with a chance to win a week on board, then why not consider supporting the journey and becoming a patron?
We should stay like this when he gets back.